Hello everyone, welcome back to JCfinger. This is a tour of my mystery island and my city. I've already done a tour for this town and didn't tour this particular private island. So I was starting off with a private island build and then the mystery island and the city. Okay. I was inspired by a Sims 4 player called Mr. Oakland. Actually not Oakland, Oakland. O-K-L-A-N. So look for him on YouTube. He's a Sims 4 player and you can type up Oasis Resort. He did a speed build and I was blown away, and just because of that video, that's the reason why I built this on this private island, and I really love the way this came together. There is a full tour for it on the channel, as is the case with every house that you will see in this town tour or island tour. So yes, if you want a full tour, which of course you're getting now in a way, then of course you can just look for the Oasis Resort that I built. Okay, in the tour you have the entire build filled with Sims activity going on, people using the lovely resort pool, occupants in the rooms up here and so on. I mean, when I watched his tour, I saw every room have a balcony facing the lovely resort beach, so I went for that look in this build. And of course, as you know, The Sims 4 is a complete different game from The Sims FreePlay. The limitations in The Sims FreePlay are incredibly obvious. So I mean, it's nothing compared to what he did, but I'm simply saying that I was inspired by him. So don't pop over there, see what he's done, and then, you know, tear me to pieces. This is just me saying I saw it and I thought I'm gonna try and do something in this game. There is no comparison whatsoever, just an inspiration. Okay. All right. Now I have all my island monuments completed. This, well, not completed because it goes on and on forever, but they're all full now, and I have what's it called, the volcano erupting every 24 hours. And yeah, after I got to that point, it was no longer interesting because nothing really happens. Let's have a look at this house. This was a very nice favorite for me in this game. I have not demolished this house. I'm in love with it, but of course it's going to go. We don't have that many plots. And this was the glass house, I think it was. So first it was completely covered in glass, and then I realized it looked unusual. So there are pillars to the front, but at the back you can see it's complete glass, and then you get the stone feature in the A-frame roof area up top. And yeah, I just fell in love with this build. I have to fall in love with the build before I show it on YouTube. No, that's not the coronavirus, you cheeky gooses. No, but as I say, I have to fall in love with a build before I put it up on YouTube. If I don't like a house, I demolish it. I would try everything I can to make sure that the house you know, is everything I want it to look like to the best of my ability before it goes up. I have got to some points in some builds and just thought, I'm not happy. I don't care if the ground floor is perfect and a section upstairs is wrong. It's not going live. I can't. It just didn't give me what I was trying to put together, so I wouldn't share it because it won't be true. And if I talk about it, I'd be lying, saying, oh, look at this room. Oh, this is really nice. No, it's not. I don't like it. So it's just going to come true. It's really hard for me to hide my feelings, especially with regard to something I have done. So you could easily catch me out if I put my hands in the cookie jar or something like that. It's true. Growing up, that was an issue. You will catch me red-handed. I couldn't hide a thing. Anyway. This is my favorite glass house, the only one I built anyway. Okay, let's go back to the town. I don't know why I popped back here. Mystery Island, I mean. Yes, I built the White House. I was inspired by Make 2 And there is another channel, I can't remember, but when I did the actual tour of the White House on my channel, I did make clear reference to the individuals I was inspired by to build this house, the White House. And of course, this is the Trump White House. So a number of you were saying, oh, why did you put a picture of Trump on the front part of this house? And I said, it's just the Trump White House. Maybe I should have just put White House. But, you know, it is what it is. And I'm not going to get political about anything. It's none of my business, really. It really isn't. I just wanted to build a lovely house that looked like the White House. And I was very pleased with how it came together. I actually looked at real floor plans. And you know, as I say, the Sims FreePlay is very limited in what you can do. But you certainly can represent an idea in the Sims FreePlay and have individuals know exactly what you are trying to do. So I'm very pleased with it. Of course, the grounds of the White House are extensive. So there isn't the West Wing or, you know, all those other parts that make up the entire presidential grounds is not here. But this is the main build, okay? And everywhere you see a room, a study, a staircase is the actual place where you would find those rooms in the White House. So it's like a map. You know, a map is not really a picture or a digital picture, a satellite picture of a road, but it certainly can get you there. So everything you see here is what I got from the floor plans. But yeah, Make 2 built this in the early days of the Sims FreePlay, probably about 5-6 years ago. And there were so many things that were not in the game at the time, but they did an amazing job. And I always had it in my mind that I would like to do that. I'd like to do it, and I have at this point in time. Perhaps another 2-3 years from now, the Sims FreePlay would have evolved again, and you probably watching this in the future and thinking, oh my goodness, couldn't she have done that? Couldn't she have done this? That's my bowling alley. And there is one in the White House, I found out, and a library as well. But yeah, it's meant to be a split level. This is not in the basement. It shouldn't be in the basement. But yes, if you're watching in the future and you're thinking, oh, she could have done this, you could have done that. Well, the thing is, at the time this was done, this was the best I could do. And I said a little minute ago, I would not put out anything that I'm not completely satisfied with. Okay, that's my Trump White House. Now we're going to look at this pool house here. This was a more recent build in my game. Really like this house. It was like a holiday destination house. It wasn't a home for the family that was living here. It was just a house they would come to on holiday. Their real family house was elsewhere in the town. And yeah, I was trying to get used to the idea of actually building with A-frame roofs. And I, in addition, then go ahead to do things around, make a pool area, a cinema pool area, and play around with angled windows and circular windows and all the glass partitioning doors and so on. So yeah, I was just playing around with that stuff and wanting to see just glass completely covering the living room area so you could see the pool all around. So it was a pool house. Everywhere you were in the house, you would catch a glimpse of the pool. That was the idea. And there was a private sink area there, and I just absolutely loved everything about it. And yeah, that's why it made it to YouTube. That's why it made it to YouTube. So yeah, it's a tinsy house in terms of the floor plan for the rooms and so on. But yeah, it doesn't need to be any bigger. Can this go on a small plot? If you chop off the big balcony? No, you can't have that on a small plot. It's a bit extended with the living room area. Anyway, that's it for the pool house. Now the next one we're going to look at, finally I'm popping up in the island and not the main town, is where I keep my big sim family. I use the family here for so many stories that I do in AR and so on. It's also my stadium. Let me just get rid of these plant patches, garden patches. So it's a stadium. This was one of the first builds I ever did on the channel, and I was inspired by a neighbor about almost 8 years exactly. It was the first build I put together, really. I had visited his town and something of the sort was being put together, and I completely understood and saw what he was trying to do, and I went ahead and built my own and did something completely different, and it was just really exciting when I was done. There was so many other forms of glitching in the game at the time that was easier to do, and I was able to put together all these bits and bobs that you can't really do now. You certainly can with different forms of glitching and so on that are a little bit more extensive. You know, it's an extensive process. But yeah, this was the part where the crowd would sit. I had 101 Sims at the time, and I would set them out here dancing. There is a tour. I think I've taken it down. I'm not sure. But no, it's there. You would see tons of Sims singing and dancing, and it is just fun. And this is the backstage area. They come up through that staircase, and there's a kitchen back here for the famous stars, you know, or musicians, dressing rooms and so on. And of course, I then bring them back here to do a lot of work for me. So hey, it's not just work, but they play as well. And yeah, this is where I try to make up those all-important LPs by doing the cooking hobby. So yeah, I absolutely love it. I haven't torn it down. Can you imagine? 8 years in the game and it's still here. Anyway, we have the attic house, a favorite of mine. This was made possible by the floating room glitch. I love that glitch because it's allowed for us to be able to do different things. You know, I am getting so bored, people. I need new build mode abilities or features in the game, and this definitely makes a build look completely different. This floating room glitch, you know, incorporating it into a house is tricky because of the sidings. You know, there's an aspect to the way it looks that might not work for you, but I was happy with the way this came together. Once I was done with that, then I worked around with a floor plan, as you see here. It's a very, very big house. I love big houses. Why? Because I live in a small house. I live vicariously through this game, through my Sims. And yeah, I let my imagination run away with me. Why not? Why not? I'm allowed. There's no barriers, is there? But yeah, I remember this build. I have since deleted it. It's not in my town right now. I have had to make space for new builds. I love this kitchen, the way the colors pull together, the way I avoided real countertops. I'm in love with it. I haven't replicated the same build twice ever in my building journey. This is the way up to the attic. You just have to poke your head in like Santa or something, and you can see things scattered around as you would expect in an attic, and then of course perhaps spider webs. That's why I have that on the thumbnail for the build on YouTube. Yeah, so a ladder that you pull down goes up, and there are some lovely rooms in here too. So yeah, the floating room glitch is a fun way to express yourself when building. As to whether it would still be in the game with the next update, I don't know. Would some old glitch methods come back? Perhaps. Who knows? It's just not something you can control. It happens if there is a change to build mode. So don't worry about being scared by individuals who make it out that the team are always trying to patch glitches. No, they're very busy trying to make new and better ways to play the game, and the natural flaws in the game might get fixed in the process without them even knowing. Okay, so that's my attic house. Now we're going to scoot along and have a look at the ultra modern mansion. This is one of my favorite builds ever. I think it was the very first time I built a house with that floating room glitch, and I just felt like I had achieved something immensely incredible. I loved everything about it. I gave it everything I had. I wanted it to have the large pool around, the landscaping, the edgy look, everything I could possibly do. You know, it's still in my town. I have not deleted it. You know, I just refuse to delete it. But hey, it will go. It has to go. I'll probably make use of the plot and build something else. But yeah. When I built this house, I don't think... Did we actually have the walls up feature? Very difficult to tell now. I know of the houses I built that did have the walls up feature, that didn't have the walls up feature, but I don't remember if this one did or not. I'd have to look back at the tour to establish that. But it's a very cute little house. Yet it's on a big plot because, you know, there are other features like the pool, the landscaping and so on. And because of the pool, it's a long shaped house, you know, so as a result you still get to see the little rooms. They're not massive or anything like that, but it's just purely because of everything else going on the plot too. So yeah, I was very happy with this build. I still somehow feel that this build was built when we did not have the walls up feature. I'll establish this later. I don't want to interrupt my chit chat by going on my phone to find out. But anyway, this is what it looks like. Some of you have replicated this and put it up on our Facebook group and, you know, just turned it around and made it into something more special. I think it's great. I still have it anyway. I can't delete these. I just can't. I can't. This is the palace right here. This one I would not demolish, not anytime soon. I probably will renovate it, but it's a special house. My town has a royal family, and it's Cinderella and the Prince Eden and their daughter Susan, who was in Teeny Issues, my AR Let's Play Families Teeny Issues AR series, right? This is that house that you see in that story. And the story had gone on for years on my channel, and I've caused it to evolve as the years went on. And I have such an attachment. It happens. I cannot delete it. And yes, this is definitely a build that I had put together when we did not have the walls up feature. So you can imagine what it was like for me to come in the game and then start going through my houses, putting all the walls up, seeing what it looks like. Did it look realistic? Because you build according to how the game would allow you to view the property, you know. When I built without the walls feature up, I wouldn't necessarily put things on the wall anywhere because otherwise they'd be hanging in space and it just looked messy and it didn't look right. But as soon as I got the walls up feature, I put things up on the wall everywhere, you know, and I would tour with the walls half up, as you can see here. Now the rooms, the royal suites have, you know, little balconies directed into each of them through this mezzanine center part here, and that's the royal suite there for the Prince Eden and Cinderella, and they have their own individual bathrooms and closet spaces. Of course, it's the royal family. And yeah, they look like normal size rooms, but it's such a big house on such a big plot. It's quite extensive as a build, isn't it? But it's because of the center part here. It's almost empty. You could build a whole house in the space where you've got the stairs leading up to the top part of the build. But that's the whole point of luxurious builds. There are large spaces that are not exactly designated to a specific use. It's just for that grand feel when you come into the space, okay? Yeah, so I might renovate the house. Deleting it would hurt. I mean, it really hurt. This is that balcony where Princess Susan was met by Prince Albert in AR Teeny Issues. That was the episode for the Royal Gala. And you will notice that the palace looks different in AR because I basically come down the floor losing the roof. Okay, and it looks like a flat top palace. Okay. Wow, I've come into the main town. Why? So that was the palace right there. And we have this boat that I built. It's a yacht. Well, that's what I choose to call it. But I have never seen a yacht with a base like that. I can't wait for the Sims FreePlay to just evolve and allow us to do things in a much more realistic way. But yeah, this is my yacht suite at the bottom part here. I really loved it, you know. I never know how my builds are going to turn out. No two builds of mine are the same at all. I might be inspired, but it will completely change as I go along. I couldn't physically achieve the same look even if I tried. Somehow my fingers are going to run away with me and it's going to turn into something different. In the actual tour, that's not the bed that you would see. The thing is, again, with some of the prices in the game, windows, just the new items that came into the game, I find myself going back into some of my builds and grabbing stuff to put in new builds. So I've raided this yacht and taken some fancy things and put them in other builds as well. That's something you might notice. You might even see a complete empty room like an architect tab house. So just in case you were asked in the comments saying, oh, why was that room empty, or why was there just a table in that room, it's purely because I'd gone in there and raided it for some special items that I didn't want to use my resources for, you know. Sorry, I've come back into the main town. Okay, now this is the one we just saw. That's the yacht, and then we have the honeymoon boat that Cinderella and Prince Eden had honeymooned on in private, away from the paparazzi, away from the press. And I tell you what, when I built this, the walls were not a feature that you could put up in the game too, so it's interesting to see what it looks like now with the walls up. It's not something I was gonna do when I was asked, you know, to do town tours. I thought, well, you've seen the houses, why are they asking me constantly to do town tours? But now that I'm doing it, it's like an update for those of you who are new to the channel and may not want to go all the way back to every single video. But maybe looking at it here, you might want to then decide, oh, I'm going to go look for the full tour or something. But hey, you're seeing it now. And that's the cabin suite for the sailor of the boat. And then you've got the royal suite at the back here. It was during the Valentine period, I think I built this. They went away on honeymoon, I think. I don't remember. It's been a long time. The tour is on the channel. And it's called Honeymoon Boat. I think it's still there. I did take some videos down because of the copper event. And so I was a bit careful around sensitive words like Cinderella, Barbie, and so on. This boat here is where I do my pregnancy bits and bobs. So it's an empty box really, filled with all sorts of things for, you know, tasks and so on. All right, let's go to the city. We're now at the city, okay? This is my Barbie penthouse. I have done 3 different Barbie builds in my town. And as you can see, I am still struggling with the downtown developer structure. And then I have a nice mezzanine penthouse. This mezzanine penthouse was the very first one I put together as soon as we had the mezzanine update. And then I did the mezzanine palace, didn't I? Which is the Cinderella Palace. Let me just put up a light. That just goes to show you now know that I'm doing this at nighttime. Well, not nighttime, it's the evening, it's past 6 p.m. And I decided to start recording, and so it went a bit grey and we're losing the sun in my sim town. But here it is. I love this build. Can you tell? I really liked it. Some of you had said that the part here by the pool was a bit useless in a sense because it just had a staircase. Well, as I say, yeah, there isn't a need for it, but I put it in there anyway. It doesn't have much use. But it just filled out the space and gave it some architectural flair. And yeah, you work your way out from the lift area there into this big space. And anytime you build with this round chair, your living room has to be massive. And much more massive if there's space around it. You got the kitchen, you got the dining area. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know that the walls were up in this build. No, it wasn't. So I'm actually looking at this differently now. It wasn't. The walls up feature was not in the game when I built this house. So if you look at the tour online, you'll see that you're seeing the build a bit different. I might be wrong, but I'm very sure because I'm seeing things that I shouldn't be seeing from the last time I visited this property. Yeah, I'm sure of it. And this is the mezzanine bedroom here, which I really like. I was so happy with the way this turned out. And yeah, this definitely did not have a walls up feature. I am certain, because it's not the way it looked. See, things are completely different. And you know what's funny? Ever since the walls up feature, I now build differently, because you have to take into consideration that the walls will be popped up and it has to look realistic. So yeah, this is how the house looked, albeit a bit different now in this view. Okay, so that's the section that just has a staircase in it that perhaps doesn't need to be attached to the build. However, overall, it just gave the build one complete look. Okay. Yay! That's my mezzanine penthouse. Right, so I have built three Barbie related homes. Two were penthouses and one was a dollhouse. So this is the one that has replaced the other penthouse that I built, and I was very excited to put this together. Again, you can see the floating room area, and yeah, she lives here with little Gracie, Ken, they have a little puppy. I didn't have the full family, you know, you only have an X amount of Sims. But yeah, I had Barbie in my town, and if you go online to look for this tour, you won't see it. As I say, I had taken down some videos, well, made them private actually, that were sensitive to the copper thread, for videos that were attractive to young children. So remember, in the comments down below, the video is only, or all videos on my channel are only appropriate for viewers over the age of 13. Now, is this appropriate for viewers under the age of 13? That's how I felt at the time, and so I locked it away, because I just wanted to carry on without any issues. And some of you have said, oh, I can't find your kindergarten. That's the reason why. So if you're watching, I've answered that question. I just feel that now that I have some clarity on what the YouTube and COPPA requirements are, I went straight ahead to streamline my content to suit those requirements, as you can expect. But for those of you who have not seen any of my Barbie penthouses or doll houses, well then, this is one last go for you, without focusing in on the subject matter of Barbie and Cinderella and so on. So I love her ensuite. I love her dressing room. I love the colors, her bathroom that's floating. I had a real blast putting this build together and playing with those Sims in here. I would log in, I'd come here and play with Barbie, but hey, guess what? I'm not under 13, am I? But I understand exactly what their issues are. Speaking of COPPA, there it is. All right. I have one more build to show you in my town, and that brings us to the end of the tour, and it's my beautiful Chic Boutique. Yay! I still have it in my town. It's not been demolished at all. There's no need to demolish it. It's meant to be in the city. For my Sims who want to go to town and do some shopping, this is the location for them. I would never forget how excited I was when the Chic Boutique update went live. We got all these fabulous fancy bits and bobs. We got signages, mannequins. I was just so excited that we had mannequins, okay, and then shoe rags, and it was just lovely. I can't tell you how I felt. And yeah, this is the main space. As I say, Barbie would work here. Actually, she was in charge of the store. She's somewhere in town. I don't know where she is. But this is the back part before the restrooms and the curtains. Everything was luxurious. I was so excited with the update. And I have to say that the Sims FreePlay have been doing an amazing job of bringing in beautiful, beautiful updates into the game. You know, we don't all want the same things, I always say. But I'm excited about this one, and you know, you might be excited about Cafe Grande live event items. Some people hate the modern features, some prefer old features. Whatever it is that you like, there's always something for someone. But these are the dressing rooms, and you'll notice that it's different from what you see on YouTube. You see, because when I upload a video, I still go back and play, right? I am a player. I don't just upload videos. I was first a player. I still come in and adjust things, you know, just because I come in and I play with the game. My daughter comes in, she plays with the game, and she'll be like, oh, you didn't put this there, you didn't do that. And I'm like, oh, that's true. And I come in and play around, and it might inspire some of my AR clips as well, because I could recreate that space in AR for a shot for something. But yeah, that's my beautiful Chic Boutique. That's the complete tour for my entire town. Okay, you've seen everything, and I want to thank you so much for watching. And of course, there were builds you didn't see because I demolished and rebuilt and demolished and rebuilt. But my downtown developer structure here is almost at the end, so wish me luck. I just don't have the time. Thanks again. I'll see you again soon in the next video, and stay tuned for this weekend too. Bye.